they look down, and as they're cleaning out this area, they got handfuls and handfuls of pills, and they could see on them one a day, such and such, because they're not breaking down in your body. They're not breaking down in your body. So if you're not getting something that's actually getting into your body, you may as well just throw it right in the toilet while you're, sitting there.
So does that have to do with the vitamin itself, or is that an indication that something may be wrong with?
It's the vitamin itself, because usually the vitamin is so encased, and it's encased so that it can last on the shelf longer. Right. So if it doesn't spoil, it sits there, and then guess what? It goes into your body, and it doesn't break down. Right. So it doesn't break down in your body. So liquid to me is preferable, but even in the liquid form, it has to be, we call the isoform. We're looking at that. Say for example, if I'm going to tell you to take copper because it's going to help your blood flow better. There's a copper in a penny. Like, you can't just suck on a penny. It has to be in the right isoform, even in the liquid form, so that it can penetrate and get into your blood system. So there are certain brands better than others. Yes.
Wow. So can you make some recommendations about places to go? Not necessarily the products themselves, but, where do you send your customers?
I have a website that I send people to that I think excellent, because and I'll tell you what it is. One of my main things, and this may give people a chance to get a pen or something. One of my main things is I really want people to be educated. I have a problem with the process. If I'm sitting in a doctor's office, they examine me, and then they go to the next room and they look up in the PDR what's wrong with me, and they find out something, and then they come back and give me this piece of paper with a prescription on it, and I go to the pharmacy. It's like, I'm not in the process. Like, I don't know what this is. I can't even read it. And then they give me 4 pages of side effects. So it's a problem. I want people to be informed and educated. I send them to a spot called 200diseases.com, 200diseases.com. You can go to that site and look up a challenge that you might be having, a symptom that you may be having, and find an organic response to it, something that can be safe and something that your body will recognize. So your body doesn't recognize chemicals. It's like, who is that? Who's at the door? But when you have something natural, your body's like, hey, come on in, make yourself at home and do what you're supposed to do. Sure. So natural is always the first choice. 200diseases.com is it's about 500 pages, but you can look at it by index, and whether it's headache or constipation or arthritis, you can look up different things that you can do. And guess what? Some things are as close as your kitchen. Wow. Lemon juice, baking soda, apple cider vinegar. There are some things that you can do right from home.
Oh, that's great. Well, I'll tell you what, Kim, when we get back from the break, let's talk a little bit about some of those home recipes and also some of the health challenges facing young people and kids, because you touched on some interesting things, and we're getting some chats coming in. So keep it locked. We'll be right back with Kim McDaniel. We'll be right back.
Straight No Chaser Talk Radio. Other shows water down the issues. We only serve the hard stuff.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school, I learned that I'm ugly and useless. And in gym, I learned that I'm pathetic and a joke. In history, I learned that I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick. And at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me.
In biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid. And in math, I learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today?
The only thing I didn't learn today?
The only thing I didn't learn
is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
The path to happiness is not the easy one, but taking drugs will not make it easier. Many people got lost and end up losing their life to drugs. If you or anyone that you know is within that path, don't be afraid to seek for help. Visit www.adk.gov.my for information related to drug abuse. So, know your path. This message is brought to you by the National Anti-Drugs Agency.
In our world, in our country, and in our cities, on our streets, in the alleys behind our homes, there are orphans, foster and homeless children who are the victims of child abuse and neglect. Hello, I'm Malcolm McDowell. Now, 80% of these children will end up homeless, and 60% will end up in prison without our help. They're good kids with bad parents, or no parents at all. They feel helpless, unloved, and full of despair. Oftentimes thrust into a world where dangerous influences lurk to prey upon their innocence. Safety Harbor Kids has developed a solution to help these children.
Safety Harbor Kids helped me get a job. Safety Harbor Kids let me know someone cares.
Safety Harbor Kids helped me go to college.
Help change your child's life forever by supporting safetyharborkids.org today.
Hello. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back to the show, Straight No Chaser. If you're just joining us, we are talking about nutrition. We've got Kimberly McDaniel, nutritionist extraordinaire, who has given us all a lesson. Giving me a lesson, sure enough.
Sir.
Because you know, coming near the end of the year, and I know some of you are out there trying to figure out if you're going to go ahead and make this New Year's resolution. And this year, you're just going to do it. You're going to eat right. You're going to live right. Some of you are creeping up on 50 and, everybody starts getting reflective. I'm already past that. So I'm not even thinking about that anymore. I'm on the other side of that, but I'm still trying to get it right. So Chief, where'd we leave off? What were we talking about when we just left? We talked about, we had some accidents, some vegan accidents you had, Chief.
Yes.
We don't want to go back into that again.
No, because it was very painful. And and in my group session, they're telling me that I'll be okay. They said, "Hi, Mike."
You did it the wrong way. But we learned some really good things about. We were talking about vitamins and supplements and things like that because it's important. I'm running into that with my mother. Who just turned 85 last week. She's doing well, and she's always reading and telling me, well, the reports say that some of these supplements aren't regulated, and this, that, and the other. And what do we do? And then she's more than a few times here lately, she was getting some kind of recalls from the pharmacy, and changing this and changing that, and the doctor changing that. So she's on the one hand, you have them trying to do right, and then they're a little fearful of doing right. But, as Kimberly McDaniel was telling us, it's best to educate yourself, to the best of your ability. And she's doing, my mother's doing a good job, but I want to make sure that she's on it. I don't want her to deny herself something that could be good for her, but at the same time, you don't want her to take something under the illusion that it's good for her and it's really not.
Mm-hmm. I love that statement, because here's the deal. Anyone who kind of in this age bracket, I call us in the sandwich generation. So that means that, we're taking care of our children and our parents in most cases. So that being said, it is incumbent upon us that we be healthy. Like, how are you going to take care of someone and you're not even taking care of yourself, right?
Correct.
So put the mask on yourself and equally put it on your parent and your children. And one of the best ways is to lead by example, right? So your chart, you got the banner up and it's like, hey, let's go do this. Not you should do this, right? Especially for kids. Cause I got kids. I have friends now and I'm like, how do you have an 8-year-old? Like, what were you thinking, but yet they do. So it's like, okay, you want to go to these football games and you're 55, 60. Okay. So you really need some extra. Exactly. Is that you? I'm sorry.
just all on my toes. Just all on my toes. I just like, what is she all of this? Yeah.
I guess it's just so inappropriate.
Yes, just went ahead and just stepped all on me. Just all of this.
Jesus.
Oh, Lord.
Jesus. Hush your face, Kimberly.
I did not know.
That's all right. That's all right.
So I'm going to give you I'm going to give you my link offline.
Yeah, I'm going to take that link too, and I'm going to send you my checkbook.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Because the energy matters. The energy matters, Wow. So we're looking at these seniors, and I was thinking about what are the commonalities for our seniors and our youth. Because there are some things that they both need. One of the big things that they need, and I've seen this visiting people in hospital recently as well, oxygen. The oxygen, the lack of oxygen, that's one of the first, measurements that they're looking at. How, what's the oxygen? What's the percentage, So when you think of oxygen, also think of just breathing and aerobic activity and exercise. And the fact, check this out. Most people aren't even breathing correctly. Like we're breathing using 1/5 of our capacity.
I can't drink water. I can't breathe right. I can't.
What the hell?
I'm out. See you later. Goodbye.
Wait a minute.
I'm only breathing through one nostril. Now I know. That's the problem.
See, people just.
Oh my God.
Some people just take it too far, Wendell.
I'm sorry.
I'm done with this.
I'm telling you, when you breathe at your capacity, think of this. When you look at a baby lying down, resting, you'll see the baby's stomach rise and fall. Rise and fall. That's the natural full way to breathe. When you breathe that way, you're airing your system out. You're cleansing your system versus breathing at this level, at the high, just not even like a singer has to breathe deeply. That's how we should breathe at least a portion of the day. Breathing energizes us. It refreshes us. It makes us think clearer. So instead of taking the whatever energy drinks and that type of thing, just breathing sometimes also calms us down. It's like God gave us everything we need to succeed, everything natural, that we should try first and then try something else, so
I have a comment from one of our listeners, Gina, in Atlanta, and she had a question about the soy discussion we had. And her question was, doesn't soy mimic estrogen and cause problem with breast cancer in women, especially in menopausal women? Can you address that?
Not only does it, yes, the answer is yes. And it also adds to the hormonal impact for men. So yeah, the estrogen, we do not need men taking estrogen, to put them out of balance. So, the thing about, there are a few things. Soy is definitely something. GMOs is another. There are some like hot topics, and there literally, Gina, are people 50% on the side of pro soy and 50% on the side of anti soy. When those type of conversations come up, my thing is, if you want to just be, err on the side of caution, you would be limiting in your intake. I used to eat edamame beans all of the time because that was what was taught to me. Oh, soy is so much better. But once I learned what Gina learned, right, I was like, oh yeah, we're not doing that. But I'm not in a whole, oh my gosh, I can never let it pass my lips, right? So I may do it occasionally. So, and you have to start looking at soy. I'm gonna lead into another thing, but soy is there's so many products made from soy, right? And the thing I wanted to partner with that is that there is a lot of high fructose corn syrup in a whole lot of food that you would not even presume. But it's in if you went to your shelf right now and looked up, whether it's crackers or ketchup, HFCS is in there, and that is very unhealthy for our body. So we do have to stay alert. But short answer, Gina, I would definitely limit that. If that's, again, I'm on the 50% that's not a pro soy person.
So how does that get right back to that whole vegan discussion then, since a lot of, or some of that product is made with soy? How does that factor into that. So for menopausal women, should they stay away from vegan stuff or